and the ombudsman for Atlantia, mid-round, agent vault, 48s, and gold recruiting. I hail from the Kingdom of Wales.
Hi, I'm Shep Shepherd. I'm one of the people having technical difficulties. My camera is not working. I am the vice chair. I'm also the director for seat F until the end of the afternoon. I hail from Meridies, and I am the ombudsman for Artemisia, Antir, Caid, the West, and the Marshallate.
Hello, I am Megan O'Shea. I am the director for seat B. Mundanely, I'm from West Virginia and I reside in the Kingdom of Athelmark. My SCA name is Sumaya Al-Ghazaya, and I am the ombudsman for Onstiora, East, North Shield, Arts and Sciences, and Publications.
Hello, I am Kate Poor. I'm the director for seat E, which means I'm the ombudsman for Ethelmark, Trimaris, Glenavon, Herald, and inclusive programming /DEIB. My SCA name is Ekaterina Krakovna Holopova. I reside in the Kingdom of the Islands.
Hi, my name is Joan Stoyer. I'm director for seat D, and I'm the ombudsman for Avakal, Drakenwald, Eldermere, and Lockhart. In the SCA, I'm Rhianwen for right here in beautiful Calontir. Yay! Very happy to be here with you. Thank you.
My name is Sam Davis. I'm the Vice President of Information Technology. In the SCA, I'm Duke Thomas Blackmore, and I hail from the Kingdom of Meridies.
Hi, I'm Melissa Midzer, and in the SCA is Arabella de Siena, and I hail from the Outlands, and I am your Society Marshal.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Faulkner. I am the director for seat C. I am the ombudsman for Calontir, the Outlands, corporate IT, the Society Web Minister, and the Society Shadowing. In the Society, I am Baron Johannes Confidenis, and I reside in the Kingdom of North Shield.
My name is Keith Howard. I'm the director-elect for seat F. At the end of this meeting, I'll be taking over for Director Shepherd. And in the Society, I'm Hengist Haywardasoon, and I reside in the Kingdom of the Middle.
My name is Eben Kurtzman. I'm the in-house counsel for the SCA. In the SCA, I'm Brock of Alderden, and I reside in Caid.
My name is Bao Pham, and I'm the president of the SCA. I come from Onstiora, the land of lightning strikes and onyx knights. My SCA name is Balduende Lafayette.
My camera is also not working at the moment, so hello, I am Stacy Hall. I have the honor of being your Society Seneschal. In the SCA, I'm known as Baroness Gwendolyn Yalihan. I hail from the Kingdom of Meridies. I'm halfway on Liz's camera. And I'm very happy to be here in Calontir today.
Hello, I'm Liz Schreier. I am the emergency deputy to the Society Seneschal. In the SCA, I'm Elisette Enindirmata, and I live about 40 minutes away from here in the Kingdom of Calontir.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Richardson. I am the corporate treasurer, which means I'm handling the money for everybody. And in the SCA, I am known as Techabet of Green Lake, and I live in the Kingdom of Caid.
Good morning, I'm Erin Potter-Tien. I'm the Society Exchequer. In Society, I'm Katalina Vanya Zhena Shishova, and I reside in the middle.
I would be remiss if I did not say we are also joined in the room by some of the populace of the Kingdom of Calontir, many hailing from the lovely Barony of Three Rivers. They have been excellent attendees to the meeting and lovely hosts, as I'm sure they will be through the remainder of the meeting. And we look forward to spending some more time with them, both through the meeting and after. We also have a few attendees who are joining us by Zoom, and if they would introduce themselves as well, then we can start the meeting. I will leave it to them to wrangle themselves since I can't actually see them, and we will go from there.
Hello, I am Andrew Harness, the Society Chatelaine from the Kingdom of Calontir, known as Otter Surtson.
Good evening. I'm Unni Leino, calling from the other side of the Atlantic, or on the other side of the society. I'm Baroness Birgitta Lulli, Laurel Queen of Arms from the Kingdom of Drachenwald.
Hi, I'm Catherine Nikolic. I am Duchess Thorkatla daughter and the Society Minister of Arts and Sciences.
Hello, I am Travis Schenk, coming to you from Frosty Artemisia. I am the archivist for the SCA. In the SCA, I am known as Ramon de Javier, and I am coming to you from the Shire of Arrows Flight in Spanish Fork, Utah.
I am Kevin Bond. I am the web minister for the society. I'm coming to you from Atlantia.
Hello, I am Kelly McKinnon. I am the communications officer and current social media officer. I reside in Onstiora, and my SCA name is Koya Karasova.
I am Roxy Elliott. In the society, I am Castana de Ana Lucia from Onstiora, and I am the society DEIB officer.
Sorry, I can't turn my camera on right at the moment. I'm Amanda Grayson, known in the SCA as Atia. I am the Society Seneschal for Investigations Deputy.
Now that we have gotten through our introductions, I think we're ready to start the meeting. I know I am. So I am happy to open the floor for motions to start the meeting, if anyone is so minded. Director Shepard.
Mr. Chair, hold on. My turn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we open this
October 18th, third quarter meeting of the board, SCA Board of Directors here in lovely St. Louis.
The motion from Director Shepard, sorry, Joan, and a second from Director Capps.
You can even let her have it in her own kingdom.
Is there further discussion on this motion? No, I did not. There being no further discussion, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Any opposed? There being none, that is 6 in favor, none opposed. The motion carries and the meeting is open. Director Shepard.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda as presented and take items out of order as necessary.
This time, Director Stoyer is the second. Is there discussion on this motion?
I think we need to add something to our agenda.
A point of order, Leslie, I believe that we would have to do that after accepting the agenda and then we can amend it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do it next. It's fine.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this motion? There being none, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Any opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed, and motion carries. The agenda is adopted as accepted, and we will take items out of order as necessary. Director Capps.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we add an item to section 5, new business, and that is item C, corporate policy 21.
Okay, and the title of said motion, we can bring it open during the motion. Fair enough. There's a motion from Director Capps. Sorry, Kate's, that is a second from Director Poor. Any further discussion on this motion? There being none, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Directors opposed. That is 6 in favor, none opposed. The motion carries and the agenda is adopted as made in the motion. That will, without further motion, we will begin with the agenda. That would bring us to the approval of prior minutes. Leslie?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to present the July 13th, 2025 quarterly meeting minutes, the August 18th, 2025 conference call minutes, and the September 10th, 2025 conference call meetings in toto for your approval.
Having reviewed the minutes prior to the beginning of the meeting, do any of the directors have questions, commentary, or corrections for the executive assistant for the minutes? In that case, the floor is open for motions. Director Stoyer.
Chair, I move that we accept the quarterly meeting minutes and conference call minutes as of July 13th, 2025, August 18th, 2025, and September 10th, 2025, as presented by the executive secretary, the executive assistant, in toto. Might be one of my favorite phrases from the board. That is a motion for Director Stoyer and a second from Megan. Any further discussion on this motion? There being none, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Directors opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed. The motion carries and the minutes are accepted as presented. That will bring us to recurring business. First on that is item A, status changes. Stacey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have status changes in the form of group status changes.
Please proceed.
Status changes that are requiring board action. I have 2 requests for dissolution. The Shire of Platford Helm, which is Douglas, Glenrock, Casper, Midwest, Buffalo, Sheridan, and the surrounding areas of Wyoming in the Outlands. The Shire has requested dissolution due to a lack of participation. Many of the current membership are minors and/or families where there are other conflicts of officer interest. Platford Helm is also very remote. Potential for a lateral move to a canton is not a workable solution for the branch. Therefore, Platford Helm requests dissolution in order to request later to become a hamlet of Unserhafen under the variance for the experimental model approved by the board April 2025, submitted for dissolution to the board.
Any questions for the Society Central regarding the request and change of status? In that case, the floor is open for motions. Director Stoyer.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the change of status for Shire of Platford Helm, rural Wyoming, as presented by the Society Seneschal.
Would you accept a friendly amendment to dissolve this?
To dissolve the Shire of Platford.
As a motion for Director Stoyer to dissolve the Shire of Platford Helm in the Kingdom of the Outlands. Is there a second? Second from Director Foster. Is there any further discussion on this motion? There being none, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Directors opposed? It is 6 in favor, none opposed. That motion carries. And the Shire is forthwith dissolved. Although happily, we now have a mechanism for them to restructure themselves and hopefully be able to continue in the future.
Oh, green, I can do it. So, would you just do it? I wondered if I said something wrong.
Well, you know, if you're going to keep dissolving groups, then.
But there's a silver lining to that one. Thank you, directors. Also, under request for dissolution, the Shire of Terminus Terra in Panama City, Florida. This is in Meridies. The Shire has been inactive for over 2 years, and the polling done for the remaining members living in the Shire, they have requested that the group be dissolved so that the branch may merge with the neighboring Shire of Phoenix Glade, which is the Fort Walton Beach, Destin, Crestview, Florida, and surrounding areas. With respect to the board, I request dissolution of this Shire so that they may merge with their neighboring Shire.
Director Katz?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dissolve the Shire of Terminus Terra, also apologies. Mr. Chairman, I move that we dissolve the Shire of Terminus Terra, Panama City, Florida, as requested by the Shire and the Society.
Before we continue, Mr. Chairman, we're going to need to make sure that when we're not speaking, this includes you, Mr. Chairman, that we mute, because the person who's speaking will echo from your mic as well as their mic. That's why the host muted you, and that's why Mr. Chairman, why you were muted when Director Capps was speaking.
Gotcha. I just can't unmute myself without turning around, which is why I'm, yeah. All right, I'm with you. Yes. What's next, Stacy?
Mr. Chair and directors, I have 3 items of status changes to take note. This does not require board action. Item number 1 is branch advancement. So with every dissolution, hopefully there comes advancement and as we move forward. The Shire of Glen Rhee and Huntsville, Decatur, Alabama metro area in Meridies has advanced from Shire to Province as of July 19th, 2025. I horribly misspelled the name of the Shire in my notes. I apologize for that. It's one of those groups that has about 9 different ways that they can spell their name. Item B, under new branches, the Shire of Valles Aires, which is all of Graham County minus the San Carlos Apache Reservation, and Greenlee County, Arizona, is a brand new Shire announced in court August 23rd, 2025. Welcome to the Shire of Valles Aires. It's a brand new Shire. Final item is under new branches number 2, the Shire of Shearwater, which is Woodville, I'm going to butcher this, Waipukuro, New Zealand, and Lockhack. So this is also a brand new Shire. And directors, with that, that is the end of my status changes.
So, Director Shepherd.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to rise to a point of personal privilege on this.
Yeah.
The Shire of Glen Rhee that just joined up to make Province is my Shire. They've been working on that for years. I'd like to send them a personal.
Right on. Can we reflect that in the minutes? Please. By consensus and without objection, the board gratefully recognizes the new groups joining the SCA, notwithstanding the personal congratulations from Director Shepherd, or Vice Chair Shepherd, excuse me. Do you have what you need, Leslie? Okay. That will bring us to item C under recurring business. This would be the quarterly meeting schedule. With Louise on PTO, I will handle that part. Establishing and confirming our meeting dates and locations. I'm short of something happening. We have established January 25 as our fourth quarter quarterly meeting. It will be a virtual meeting of the board. April 25th of 2026 will be the first quarter meeting of that year. We have prospectively selected the Kingdom of Atlantia as a physical location in person, but that will be pending working out some logistics with locations and contracts, et cetera. Rather than announce that just yet, I think we'll let the process play out with Louise and figuring those things out before we make that announcement. Go ahead, Evan.
Can please slow down a little bit for the sign language interpreter? These hands look like they're about to fall off.
I will definitely slow down. Sorry. Our second quarter 2026 quarterly board meeting will be virtual, and that has been established tentatively for July 19th. And the third quarter board meeting for 2026 has been established tentatively for October 17, location to be determined. And as of now, those are the quarterly board meetings scheduled up to now. With regard to invited guests, that would be the corporate officers, certainly on the virtual ones. For our in-person meetings, that would be the customary invitees, with others on an as-needed basis. Regarding the upcoming conference calls, we have established November 18th as our next conference call, and December 16th for the last conference call of the year, or at least the last scheduled conference call of the year. And by consensus and without objection from the other directors, we'll take note of those for the schedule. And without such objection, so ordered. That would bring us to item D, bank account authorizations. And I will note that there are none presented for this quarter. That brings us to item E, warrants. Leslie?
There were 3 warrants presented this quarter, still requiring action. I will allow the officers to present those during their reports.
That would bring us to item F, ongoing projects. Number 1 under that is board recruiting. Director Katz.
Mr. Chairman. As always, the board is revolving every 6 months. Somebody steps off the board and somebody steps onto the board. At this time, Director Pepper is about to step off, and Director-elect Howard is about to step on. That being said, we need to move on and replace our next director, which unfortunately for us will be Mark Walker.
I don't know that that's that unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Shortly after that, we're going to have to replace me. So as these things go, we are always looking for nominees to the board. It is probably the most humbling and powerful thing I've ever done in the SCA. It is emotionally powerful. It is a great way to give back to the society that we love so much. We are always looking for nominees, especially in the fields of finance, project management, legal, human resources, things like that. And if you know of anybody, I always encourage you to nominate somebody that you think would be a great help to the board. You can self-nominate, you can anonymously nominate folks. Just send an email to the executive assistant. Thank you.
Next is board representation. Leslie?
Mr. Chairman, as you've already stated, the board and officers express their appreciation to the populace of Calontir for hosting this October 2025 board meeting. The board is always looking for additional opportunities to set up meetings, preferably at larger local non-kingdom events. If you have something in mind and are interested, please email me and I can give you additional information.
All right. We are going to exercise our option to take things out of order without objection. You know, in consideration for the fact that what one might describe the hour as ungodly where Uni is. So we are going to jump to the Herald report so that that can be delivered and Uni can you know, perhaps get some rest after that.
Thank you. No, it's just a bit past 8 over here, so it's not really that bad. I mean, you are in a slightly more Eastern time zone than the usual meetings. But nevertheless, thank you. As always, there are a few changes, mostly small and incremental to the heraldic rule set. But to start with requested board actions, this time I've actually got a request to start the process for corpora change. Because at the time the Order of the Mark was established earlier this year, the table of standard titles in corpora was not updated to match. And while I noted when registering the order name that the members should be titled Master, Mistress of, or an approved equivalent of the mark, I think it would be a good idea to add this to the corpora as well. So if you would be so kind as to get the ball rolling on this.
I believe I would be appropriate to say that would be a housekeeping item. I think it would be fair to say that given that we've already passed all the other language and whatnot, that it would make no substantive change to corpora, et cetera. I mean, in other words, I don't see where we would need to circulate that to the populace for commentary, et cetera. We've already established the order and what have you. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll make those changes, Uni, and get those in.
Thank you. Then going for the policy interpretations part. First of all, updates to the SINA, the standards for evaluation of names and armory. There are 5 of these. The first 2 items update our treatment of the existing registration allowance, that is the ability to use elements from names already registered to the person in new submissions, so that they would be slightly more consistent. Item 3 updates our pre-accepted generic patterns for order names to better match our increasing understanding. Item 4 does the same thing to a list of elements that are considered a step from core practice. That is, elements that are allowed for registration as long as it is the only way the armorial design breaks from period practice. And item 5 updates our list of details regarding heraldic conflict, because the purpose of this SENA appendix is to collect rulings about which changes are similar enough that the change between the two items is not considered significant. This is our bureaucratic way of saying that these changes are smaller than would have been found in period armory between the arms of two siblings. And of course, having a unified list of these rulings helps keep our decisions consistent. So mostly just housekeeping things.
I believe there is a motion that someone is prepared to make.
I gotta find the notes again. Mr. Chair, I move that we uphold the changes to, or is it policy interpretations? Okay. I was like, we uphold the updates to SENA as requested by the Laurel Queen of Arms.
That is a motion from Director Poor. And I sorry, I think Jonathan is beating everybody to the punch on that one. Okay. As a motion from Director Poor and a second from Director Foster. You know, and yeah, I'll note for the record that Director Shepard's not bitter. Is there further discussion on this motion? Don't let his face fool you. He's not bitter. Any further discussion on this motion? There being no, move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed, and the motion carries.
Thank you. Then there are four changes to the glossary of terms. Of these, item 1 clarifies the two separate cases that can be considered either first or field treatments, because again, this is a case where this interpretation means that they would be treated differently with regard to heraldic conflict. So another housekeeping thing. Item 2 reserves the use of a pair of white bracers in armory to companions of the mark, and also a white color to the companions of defense, similar to the protection already afforded to the regalia of the other 3 peerages. Thank you for founding the Order of the Mark, because this piece of housekeeping also made us realize that we hadn't done this for defense 10 years ago. Item 3 updates our list of conventional proper colorings. Yet another piece of housekeeping. And item 4 is the next part in the ongoing project of going through the glossary of terms and making sure it is consistent and the decisions listed there are actually what was decided back in the olden days.
I think we need to do that in 2 separate motions. One to update the SENA glossary tables, and a second for the changes to the administrative handbook appendices. Hypothetically, if where directors were so minded to make such motions. But the first one would be for to approve the updates to the SENA glossary tables.
Mr. Chair, I move that we uphold the changes to the SENA glossary as requested by the Laurel Queen of
A
Arms.
motion for Director Stoyer and the never bidder, Director Shepherd, is the second. Sitting arms akimbo, as every proper superhero should. Is there a discussion on this motion? I will recognize anyone for discussion who will sit akimbo. No, nothing. Nobody's going to bite. In that case, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Any opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed. The motion carries, and the changes to the Senate glossary tables are adopted. Secondarily, if someone is so inclined, the second part would be a motion to adopt the changes to the administrative handbook appendices. Director Stoyer.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the updates to the administrative handbook appendices as presented by the Laurel Queen of Arms.
As a motion from Director Stoyer, is there a second? Second from Director Foster. Is there a discussion on this motion? There being no discussion, move to voting. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. That works too. Any opposed? And with 6 directors in favor, none opposed, that motion carries, and the changes to the administrative handbook are adopted.
Thank you. Although I would note that the glossary of terms is not a part of the SENA, it's a separate document. So
we'll correct that.
Please note that in the minutes.
Okay, I was going to make a motion.
But then going on, that there are no new policies at this time. Commendations have recently been published elsewhere. Is that the case this time as well? All right, so no need for me to read those. And then going for the status report. First of all, the Office of Wreath King of Arms, responsible for decisions on armory submissions, is about to change hands in this coming winter. And I sent a request for the warrant with my report earlier this month. The plan is to do the office transition gradually during December through February, so that the formal changeover will happen at the start of March. Pretty much like how we did the office changeover for Pelican Queen of Arms last year. And should it meet your approval, warranting Thomas Diment, called Olivier Lofloch, in the society as Wreath King of Arms, would give us the situation where all the 3 sovereigns of arms would live in different continents, since Olivier is from Lokak. On a slightly less positive note, there are currently no bids for the mid-2026 Known World Heraldic and Scribal Symposium, which means it is rather likely that this will end up being a virtual event instead of an in-person one. And that I believe concludes my report. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Uni. Without objection from the directors and by consensus, your report is very gratefully accepted, and thank you for all the work that you put in every quarter, not only in preparing the report, but ultimately in managing and administering heraldry in the society. Very much appreciated. There are some particulars regarding the warrant extensions and management of how we're doing that that are under discussion on the board. So there are some details with that we'll want to work out with you, but we'll handle that offline. Thank you.
Thank you.
Given the timing and whatnot, I will ask the directors and officers, does anybody need an intermission? Otherwise, I do see a few hands. I do want to be sensitive to the fact that we got a late start. Is 10 minutes sufficient? I see 5. 5 is good. We will aim for 5 minutes to just a quick break. Kelly is handling the, if we could run the commendations for the next 5 minutes while we take a quick intermission, and we will resume as quickly as we can. And the meeting will, until then, stand in recess. Okay, we are ready to resume the meeting. And I believe that going back to our normal agenda, that will bring us to item 4, old business, but I don't, yeah, the society officer process and deputy transitions, which I believe is Val. I might be wrong about that.
All right. I got it. Let's see. Mr. Chairman, directors, we're looking at standardizing how society officers transition and the deputies process. That the first draft was submitted to the board, but it needs a little bit more work. We want to make sure that whenever there's a transition, there's some consistency and knowledge passed on. So we are working on rewriting that.
For the benefit of the viewers and the populace, who may be watching at home, what were some of the driving considerations that went into the plan that you're considering?
We want to make sure that whenever a society officer steps into their role, that they have the autonomy to do what they need to build out the office the way they want. But we also want to make sure that deputies have a lot of knowledge and that they can transfer to the incoming officer. And we want to allow a process that gives a length of time where a transition can fully take place and the officer can step into the role whenever they start their position and take off running.
And my recollection from the discussion is that you are considering some ways where there can be not only some consideration given before how to appropriately transition the officers, but also some overlap time and how to formalize and provide for not just transition period, if you will, for knowledge transfer, but training period, and for consideration for the deputy officers who go with that and how to handle those types of issues as well, so that there will be really a comprehensive approach to how the society and corporate offices are transitioned. Would that be accurate?
Yes, we need to document the process and make sure it's consistent from officer to officer.
Excellent. Excellent. Is there anything else that you need to comment on about it at this time, or we just take note and you'll return to it when you're ready?
Take note because it will come back later.
Excellent. Are there any other questions or discussion from the other directors to the president? Otherwise, by consensus, we'll take note and we'll bring it back when it's ready. Then without such questions and by consensus, we take note and look forward to your efforts. And thank you.
All right.
That would bring us to item, to new business. The first under that is item A, the preliminary 2026 budget report. Carolyn.
The 2026 budget is started. We are waiting on some information. I did get some information from the board that will help me get a draft budget to you, hopefully by the November conference call. And we will need to get our insurance quote, which generally does not arrive until late November or early December. And of course, that is our biggest budget item. That's pretty much it for the 2026 budget, though. So unless you want me to go through the rest of my report.
No, I mean, short of any surprises or other things and whatnot.
In the current budget?
Well, in the 2026 budget.
No, there's nothing for next year that will be any particular surprise unless the insurance company surprises us, which I would not count out of the equation. But won't know that for another month at least.
Understood. Are there any other questions or considerations for Carolyn? Then by consensus and without objection, the preliminary budget report from the treasurer is accepted, and we will wait for the update once the quote from the insurance company is received. And without such objection, so ordered. Thanks, Carolyn.
You're welcome.
Item B under new business, that would be the event policy. Val?
So a working group was created to put together an event policy for the SCA. And a scope was submitted to the board of directors. The overview of the project is the goal of this project is to define what constitutes a large event within the SCA and to create a working set of policies for them. This includes developing a scalable framework to address varying levels of risk, oversight, operational requirements depending on event size and duration. That is an overview of the project. A working group is put together with Escar Altfroster as the project lead for this project. And it's a team composed of various people from around the known world who have experience with large events. I used to be Al Rumia is on it, Edmund Dracator, Gilbert de Molins, Victoria of the Vales of Barnsdale, Gwen Blen, Rinash Ni Rose, and Catalina Evina Zana. The Society Exchequer is on it. So we are looking at making a policy to help mitigate risk for the SCA corporate, to help with safety, and to give more definition to what an event is in the SCA.
Understood. Are there any questions or comments or other considerations for the with respect to the event policy that the president is working on? Good. Are there any further resources or direction that you feel like this working group needs from the board?
Not currently at this time. I'm going to take the revised scope back to them, and then we will work on creating a policy.
Excellent. Without any further questions or commentary, et cetera, then the board takes note, and we look forward to the work and the outcomes of this working group. And thank you very much. And we'll pause for 30 seconds while my out-of-date agenda gets revised. In the interest of taking items out of order, item 5A, the Known World Learning Library. Whose item is this? About.
I love working groups. So here's another one. At the direction of the board, we're looking at having a learning management system to have better standardization and consistency in the training in the organization. So we're going to start off with the office, the DEIB office. So I will read you a little bit of the project overview for this. The goal is to integrate a learning management system initially for the DEIB office so that all members across the society are on the same page regarding DEIB policies and procedures. The LMS is a learning hub offering employee-like training for DEIB officers across all kingdoms. However, we would also like to add some trainings available to all members for transparency. When reviewing products, we will keep in mind expandability so that if things go smoothly with implementing this for DIB, we could later consider expanding it to other areas of the SCA, such as seneschals, exchequers, chatelaines, et cetera, et cetera. And this project is the project manager for this is Ava Wilt. And also helping with this is Roxy Gonzalez, the new DIB officer, Renee Carroll, the officer of inclusivity, and Tiana Hansen, who will help with creating some of the content for it.
Excellent. If I understand the project appropriately, if I'm understanding it correctly, the project would be to create a learning management system that that would be to begin with, that would be used for assisting with us, helping to train our officers, and that the first the canary in the coal, if I can use that term, would be our DEIB officers. And that if that works, and it works for us, that we would potentially expand that to other officers within the SCA. Is that the right way to look at that?
Yes. At the society level, it's easier to implement things in chunks. So we start with the DIB office and work out any issues that we find there. And if it works well, then we will expand it to other areas.
Got it.
Right now, we're looking at expanding to officers. I know in the future, it could be possible that we expand it to involve classes and other things that we would like to have in a centralized place, like a true library of all the things in the SCA in one place.
I don't want to opine on that now. I don't want to get overly excited, but this could be an interesting resource for the SCA, and certainly something that advances our 501c3 status. So I'm certainly very interested and very interested in where this goes and to see how it develops. So go forth and conquer. Director Capps.
I am absolutely not afraid of getting super excited about this project. I really do think that this is going to bring huge value to our membership, and I'm very excited to see where it goes with this.
What she said. Really excited. I promise that, well, I can't promise for Krista, but I'll try that we won't stand over your shoulder, you know, How's it going? What you doing? But yeah, we're pretty excited about where this could potentially go. So
There's always room on the team. I mean,
don't curse yourself like that, because ask my squires and my proteges. They'll tell you I'm a terrible team member. Yeah, but yeah, very excited about what you guys are doing. I hope it goes really well, because the potential benefit to the SCA, both for training our officers and for what it could potentially do for benefits to our members is pretty substantial. So very, very, very happy to see that this is happening. I'll stop blowing smoke now, but thank you. Anything else on this before? But yeah, by consensus and without objection, we're very grateful that you guys are doing that, and thank you guys for taking that on. I think that brings us to item C under new business. This would be the item that was added, corporate policy or draft corporate policy 21. Stacy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the proposed addition to corporate policy would be item 21, execution of the confidentiality and responsible information use agreement by royal heirs. Each competitor and prospective consort in a royal list must be prepared to execute the confidentiality and responsible information use agreement, hereafter referred to as the agreement, should they be victorious, within 10 business days after being declared the victor in crown or coronet tourney. The victor and consort must individually execute the agreement and present it to the Kingdom Seneschal unless they have previously executed the agreement within the last 10 years. The Kingdom Seneschal shall confirm to the Society Seneschal by email that the royal heirs have executed the agreement at their earliest convenience and shall send the properly executed agreement to the corporate office within 10 business days.
For context, in the last 6 months or so, as we have been re-examining our policies and practices and procedures with respect to sanctions, confidentiality, and responsible information use, we have identified some gaps. As a result of that, we have drafted a confidentiality and responsible information use agreement. The intent would be that all the board members, all the corporate officers, the society officers would be part of a condition of their office is that they execute said agreement. And in simple language, it would be, hey, be responsible with the information that's entrusted to you. Don't disclose people's information. Don't disclose more information than necessary to execute your offices, and et cetera. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. We have mechanisms through handbooks and whatnot to include that for that language about making that a condition of their offices for the corporate officers, the society officers, et cetera, and for the board members. Our mechanism to do that for the other people involved in the sanctions process, i.e. the crowns, is through either corpora or corporate policy. Since there's no handbook, there's no society handbook for crowns. And so for us to do that and make it a condition of accepting that position, i.e. crown, we need to add it to either corpora or corporate policy. In this particular case, the decision was the best place to put it was in corporate policy. It is the same, it is literally the exact same agreement that we will be asking every board member, every society and corporate officer, every kingdom seneschal, and every kingdom exchequer to also execute. Their language is no different, and it basically says the same thing. Be responsible with the information that's entrusted to you, don't disclose it, and et cetera. We will be publishing it for commentary as we do with every corporate policy so that everybody will get a chance to see it and, see that, for 60 days to say, hey, this is what it says. If there are things that people object to, we certainly welcome the feedback so that people can say, hey, this doesn't look right or what have you. And we're definitely open to see if we missed something or if this is, I don't like this part or, I don't like this part of what this says, then certainly we're open to fixing that. One of the benefits, and I see your hand up already, one of the benefits of having an HR expert on the board is being able to craft something like that and have it, be, hey, this is appropriate without overstepping, but while still protecting not only the organization, but the people who are in it so that we're right without being too much and too little. So that's what this is.
Before I have a motion, I do have some commentary.
Please.
So I said, before I have a motion, I do have some commentary. When I started on the board, one of the things that I said that I would work on and work hardest on was the protection of victims during an investigation. And witnesses during an investigation. And I think this helps us move towards that, is truly that protection of the vulnerability of the group. So, you ready? I have a motion.
Is this applicable within the United States or across the society?
Given that we put it in corporate policies, as I understand it, that's SCA US, and we would have to work with our affiliates to craft appropriate stuff that would be applicable in their country because the laws are different. But as with other things, we would give them appropriate notice, and they would do that. They would adopt or not adopt or not, but adapt as appropriate for their affiliates.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we circulate the proposed addition to corporate policies, section 21, to membership for commentary.
That is a motion from Director Camps. And we don't normally like to do this, but a preemptive second from Director Poor. You get one, and that's it. Because your dad's here. Yes, I said it. Her dad is here. Look at her face, turn red. It's awesome. Worth it. And that's even better. Do I get points for that?
Yes.
So that is a motion and a second. Is there a discussion on this motion? There being none, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Directors opposed? With 6 directors in favor, none opposed, that motion carries, and the draft corporate policy 21 will be circulated to the membership for their commentary. Thank you, Stacy, for that. I think that brings us to, I'm not really sure about that either. That brings us to reports, the first of which is the president.
All right. First off, I'd like to start off with commendations for Lori Ford for all her work on the special projects, and as one of my special projects deputy, I'd also like to commend Petra the Rozaki for all her work on the projects and being a liaison between the Canada Working Group and corporate. And I'd also like to commend Melissa Midzor for all the work her and her team have done to update and create a wiki for armored combat and beyond. All right, so for my reports, let me start off by reading part of my publishable summary. Diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. These are modern terms that do have equivalents in the historical game that we play. Courtesy, hospitality, grace, chivalry, justice, generosity, compassion, protection. There are many parallels. One of the primary goals of this organization is growth, and that is more easily accomplished when we facilitate and foster an environment that is accepting of others. Being inclusive means considering the reasons that prevent someone from being able to participate in the SCA, whether it is looking at socioeconomic barriers, accessibility to our activities and sites, or making an inclusive environment. Our organization is greatly improved and we are mindful of ways to help people belong. With Renee as our inclusivity officer and Roxy as the Society DIB officer, I look forward to continuing building a welcoming environment in the SCA. And now for my general report. So we have a bunch of different projects from my office and working in conjunction with the various society officers. We have Project Quantum, which is like e-banking, payments and funds, and Project Insight, which is reducing exchequer complexity. And that resulted in a proposal by the Society Exchequer given to the board of directors at the September conference call. Project Praxis is complete, and that is involves officer and deputy positions have been completely mapped. SOPs have been created and job descriptions updated, and templates have been created for standardization. A centralized SharePoint has been created to store documentation. Project Throne, which is a guide to crowns, continues its work. Project One for All, which is DEIB, is complete with the framework of the offices of inclusivity and DEIB established. Project Margin is alternative revenue streams, and that is making progress right now by currently analyzing historical data. Project Scale, which is the large and recurring events, was discussed previously. I already discussed a little bit about the Known World Learning Library, which develops a learning management system for the SCA, beginning with the EIB training to promote a more systemic approach to inclusivity. And this system will evolve to provide comprehensive training in all offices in the SCA to provide consistency in training. This project will be managed by a new special projects deputy, Ava Bach-Wilt, and a scope was provided to the board for review. My office is also bringing on a marketing strategist, Kristen Barger, who will work in conjunction with the communications office for special projects to help grow the SCA. There is a proposal that the board has reviewed, and there is a draft policy for society officer transitions that needs to be reworked. Progress is also being made on an AI policy that will be crafted in conjunction with various society officers with input from the community. And the next step for the Canada Working Group is to find an accountant, and that there's a report that the board has reviewed. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Are there any questions for the president on his report? Then by consensus and without objection, the report of the president of the society is gratefully accepted. Thank you very much, Val. Item 1A under the president's office would be the society web minister. Is Kevin available? Oh, excuse me. I went right past that. I'm sorry. One, Vice President of Information Technology.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That was a big goof on my part. My apologies.
It's a lot of words on screen. It's easy to skip a line. I'm just going to read my general status report, and in the interest of brevity, it's been a quiet month in the IT department. This does not mean that progress hasn't been made. The development department has been working hard to work on our abilities to interact with the Neon One CRM. Russ has been diligent with system updates to ensure the security of the server. And Kevin, our new web minister, has stepped in and assumed the office of Society Web Minister quickly and professionally. I do have a great team, and I want to commend them all. That concludes my report, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman.
Now that brings us to 1A. Web Minister. Is Kevin available?
I am.
There he is.
And this will be my first report. So I'm going to go write down the letters. If there are any questions, please do state them as such. No requested board actions at this time. There was one policy interpretation. I was contacted by a Kingdom Web Minister requesting guidance on the posting of adult content material. After reviewing the policies, I offered an interpretation of the following passage of the current Society Web Minister Handbook. And that was the only policy statement that appears to address the topic, which was that web ministers execute oversight over content to ensure it complies with the local standards and regulations. My interpretation of that was to follow is that decisions about the appropriateness of web content should be addressed by the web minister responsible for the content of the websites in question. In matters of dispute concerning web minister's discretion to publish or not publish content, the concerned party should escalate the issue through the established proper channels. The next section is on new policies. I do have.
You're muted.
Are you not hearing me at all?
All right, we are now.
What's the last thing we heard? And I'll go back.
The last thing I heard was, I think, the end of your policy interpretation.
I took a break. I took a pause. That was intentional.
Chairman, I believe he's left in the board.
I was getting ready to turn to the directors for commentary. Yeah. And if did we because I actually don't have the report on screen. Did we get through the full extent? In that case, I'm going to pause there to take commentary from the directors on the policy interpretation, since that will require board action. And that the floor is open. Krista? I would agree with that.
I can't hear what
commentary from the directors.
The other directors are saying.
Kevin, let me ask: is there any additional color or context that you feel would be helpful in the to the directors for understanding this particular situation?
With regard to the adult material?
Not so much that part. I don't really need the details on that, but
it was really just a question of who makes the final decision about what content is posted to a website.
Got it.
And the interpretation that I made based on the regulation that is currently, or the rule, or however you want to phrase it, that is currently in place in the handbook, is that is determined by the web minister that is most responsible for the site in question.
Got
it. Because they're going to be the people most likely to publish, not publish, what have you, based on the local rules and regulations.
Any other questions or need for clarification from the other directors? In that case, I would ask if there are any motions to uphold or overturn the interpretation of the Society Web Minister. Director Stoyer.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the policy interpretation by the Society Web Minister.
The motion from
as
Director
stated.
Stoyer to uphold the policy interpretation of the Society Web Minister. There is a second from Director Capps. Is there further discussion on this motion? There being none, we'll move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. It is 6 in favor. Are there any opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed. That motion carries, and your policy interpretation is adopted.
Okay. Moving on to new policies. I would like to propose a modification to the Webminister's Handbook. The proposed edit would add the following to the Webminister's Handbook under the website construction heading. Generative AI guidance. Webministers should avoid the use of generative AI in the construction of official SCA websites. This includes, but is not limited to, the use of generative AI for the creation, of text, images, and or videos in cases where generative AI is utilized or where, utilization or where you are unsure whether the tool incorporates generative AI. Web ministers should take care to disclose that which generative AI tools were used and provide attribution to known source materials used in the creation of new content.
Okay, is there any, let's correct that. I actually don't think we need that. I actually don't think, I mean, in other words, I think this is within the purview of his office. Does anybody disagree with that? Anybody disagree with that? But by consensus is without.
He's putting in his handbook.
When he puts it in his handbook, that would be when we would need to approve it, but making the policy now is within his purview. But when it goes in the handbook, then we would need to approve the handbook. I mean, it's kind of a weird distinction to draw, but I mean, does anybody disagree with that interpretation? A little weird fig leaf, but I think that's procedurally the right way to look at that. Without such objection, and by consensus and without objection, I think it's within the purview of his office. And without such objection, so accepted.
Okay. Accommodations. As I was getting settled into the new role, I would like to collectively thank the Kingdom Web Ministers for their support and with the development of the proposed AI guidance in particular. And I would like to thank Nicholas Milano, the previous Society Web Minister, and Sam Davis, the VP, for sharing their institutional knowledge. It has been invaluable. So moving on to the general status report. What follows is the brief status report for this quarter. Kingdoms have been working on setting up email and management using Google Web Spaces and setting up two-factor authentication and email for various kingdoms. Some kingdoms have been dealing with shutting down rogue websites. We've been working on policy for AI assessments. Kingdom site migrations continue. Triaging outages, which are an ongoing issue for the web ministrate. Developing training and database management support. Local site standardization and DNS management, and other things that we're working on at the society level is forming the working groups to help address concerns about generative AI, as just discussed. Continuing work on a forthcoming wiki guide, beginning work on a forthcoming web ministers resource guide, beginning a search for a society deputy to address concerns about website accessibility, and began search for a deputy to begin assessing website compliance for kingdoms. And the final publishable summary is that kingdoms continue to make progress with their respective projects. Common areas of focus for the past quarter include advancement of email services and system stability. Several kingdoms have raised questions regarding AI, which we're attempting to address. And we'll be researching this as we move forward. And that concludes my report.
Kevin, I missed the last thing you just said.
I did take a break. The last thing I just said was that we will be continuing to research this issue and provide actionable guidance for with regards to AI tools. And then I took a break.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Are there any questions or need for clarification from the report of the Society Web Minister? Then by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society Web Minister is gratefully accepted. And thank you very much, Kevin. That will bring us to the Society Communications Officer. I believe Kelly is online.
Yes, hi. I'm going to start with my accommodations and just kind of read off of them. So first, I want to start by congratulating and thanking Bridget for her contribution to the organization. Her service over the last 7 years has delivered exceptional results and created a supportive community. Her leadership and mentorship created an environment that allowed all KSMOs to thrive and take ownership in their positions, me included. She will be missed in this position, but she deserves a well-earned retirement. So thank you, Bridget. Next, I'd like to thank Bridget again, Katie, Ross, Bao, and many more who have provided guidance and support as I fully transition into this role. Your knowledge and kindness has been vital as I learned how to make this office my own. And I'll save the rest for social media. But the report for communications is that we are working on broader policy updates. We are looking into the AI policies and how that'll affect our offices, where we're discussing to ensure fair, firm, and flexible implementation across all of the kingdoms. We'll be working, as Bao mentioned, with the new marketing specialist to help broaden our voice across the society, and we are looking to explore new content formats, create more collaborative opportunities, and expanding our presence on underutilized platforms. That is all I have currently for this office.
Before I ask Kelly, is there any, because I have a habit, unfortunately, of jumping the gun. Is it anything else that you want to bring to our attention before I ask if there are questions for you?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right. In that case, I will turn to the directors to see if there are questions or the need for clarification from the communications officer. In that case, by consensus and without objection, your report is gratefully accepted. Thank you very much, Kelly. The next on my list at the moment would be the report of the social media officer, which is also Kelly.
Hi again.
Funny how that works.
Yes. So I am going to read the accommodations for the social media side. So thank you to all of the KSMOs who have welcomed me as their new point of contact with open arms. Thank you to those who have volunteered to join our Society Discord moderation team. It's wonderful to have our server grow enough to require more volunteers. And that includes Arcil, Jotan, and Isabel. So thank you to everyone else who sent in applications. Your willingness to serve is greatly appreciated. The Kingdom of the Middle ran their first social media tournament this quarter. They had 9 video entries with 118 total votes. Olivia and Cassier of Atlantia have been actively involved in managing the official Atlantia Discord and promoting content for the Kingdom respectively. Thank you for your service. And then Ingen Gilla Christ of Glen Aubin has taken over the role of KSMO and done an excellent job transitioning into the position. I apologize to everyone whose SEA name I just messed up on. As far as the report for the social media office, during this quarter, social media officers continued producing strong content across multiple platforms while working on refining internal processes. Efforts remain focused on supporting community development, updating their handbooks and policies to reflect evolving technologies such as the AI policies that we'll need to look into, and ensuring that our branches are equipped to share appropriate local content.
Questions, need for clarification from the Society Communications Officer? All right, I'm just going to ask, I mean, wearing the 2 hats, does it, do you get, do you have problems with, figuring out which hat you're wearing at any particular moment? Do you get a little bit of, a little bit of the multiple personality problem, or?
No, because the communications and the society officer, they're all.
That's a terrible joke, but I'm 50 some years old, so I'm a little dad joke every now and again. Sorry. Well, Leslie. Anyway, without such question, then by consensus of that objection, the report of the society social media officer is also gratefully accepted. Thank you, Kelly. That would bring us to item 4, the report of the society DEIB officer, Roxy.
Terribly sorry. I was having trouble getting my video and my mic to work. As this is my first meeting, I don't have a lot to report. I want to start with my accommodations and give a huge thanks to Bao, Katie, and Renee for their patience with me, as I feel like I bombard them with at least 10 questions a day. So thank you very much for your patience. As this is a brand new office, my focus has been on building the framework needed for this office to run smoothly. And that includes a DEIB handbook and standard operating procedure, as well as a reporting system. This also includes, as Bao mentioned, working on building the learning library / learning management system, which for the DEIB office would include comprehensive onboarding material for all the Kingdom DEIB officers, both current and incoming, as well as continual learning opportunities. And that is all I have today.
Thank you, Roxy. Questions, needs for clarification? I see a bunch of thumbs up. Without such question, then by consensus, without objection, your report is gratefully accepted. Thank you, Roxy. If a director is willing to do so, to offer an amendment to add an agenda item for that report, then we can do that. Because she sent it in and she sent it in on time.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Director Katz?
Mr. Chair, I move that we add an item to section 4A5.
Friendly amendment, it would be 6A5.
Okay, 6A5. For the report of the Officer of Inclusive Programming.
That would be a motion from Director Capps and a second from Director Shepard. Is there any further discussion on this motion? There being no voting, directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Any directors opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed. That motion carries, and the agenda is further amended. Do you have what you need, Leslie?
I've got what I need.
Okay.
Who wants to do the report? You got it.
Okay, do you have it?
Mr. Chair, this is the report for inclusion programming by our new corporate officer for inclusive programs, Emily Renee Carroll, in the society known as Dominica Mackrell. No, that is not correct.
Dominica Mackerel.
She is, yay! Sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
So
Renee, we're very happy to see you.
Thank you.
Probably not as much as Kate, but we're really happy to see you.
So
Please,
are
by
you
all
ready
means,
for
proceed
me?
with your report.
Okay, I wanted to start off with my commendations. I just want to thank everyone who's helped me transition into my role as Officer of Inclusive Programs. And that includes Roxy for being so transparent, flexible, and willing to communicate and listen. Leslie for the reminders, encouragement, and endless patience. Bao for his guidance, advice, and kindness. Ava for getting the ball rolling with the creation of an LMS, and the members of the BOD for being so welcoming. And this was a good example of it. Everybody's like, yay, she's here. So as far as general status goes, I did, within my own kingdom, I taught a class on DEIB and the SCA. So that's one thing I did. And then I'm currently working with Bao and Roxy and the rest of our group on the LMS, the Known World Library. And also I'm working with Roxy on an initiative to conscientiously create an SCA stance promoting cultural appreciation over cultural appropriation. So we're working on that currently right now. And that is, I believe, all I've got.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or clarifications needed for the Office of Inclusive Programs? Then by consensus and without objection, your report is gratefully accepted. And I'll speak certainly for myself, generally for the board, and very much for Kate, when I say thank you very much and your report is gratefully accepted, Renee.
Thank you.
That will bring us to, unless there's something else that we missed, that would bring us to item B under reports, the Society Seneschal, also known as the Vice President for Operations. Stacy?
Yeah, my camera is
by
way of Liz's camera. So coming to you live and not virtually through Liz's camera. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we'll move this out of the way. This is my report for the third quarter of 2025. Requested board actions, I have none. Of note, the commentary period for the last requested update to Corpora ended on October 6th. It was beyond the deadline for this meeting, so that will be in a future report. Variances, I have none. Policy interpretations, I have none. New policies, I have none. And the group status changes we have already covered. I do have several commendations for this quarter. To be brief and in the interest of time, as of this writing, we have 3 Kingdom Seneschals who are soon to end their watch for their respective kingdoms, and I would like to take this moment to express my deepest appreciation and eternal gratitude for their outstanding contributions, their diligence, and their steady leadership. Dan Watson, His Grace Bart Hightower in Artemisia, Nicolette Des Plazas, who is Contessa Julia Isabella de Venezia, and Alex Colsa, who is Master Gwen Blaine in Glenaban. Also of note, Vicky Foster, who is the Kingdom Seneschal of Avical, has hit the ground running in spectacular fashion in the last 2 months. She is brand new, and many things have hit her desk very quickly. As always, I would be lost without the considerable efforts of my 2 outstanding deputies, Amanda Grayson and Liz Schreier. Liz was my predecessor and stayed on as my ER. In addition to her experience, expertise, institutional knowledge, and practicality, Liz is one of the few people I turn to when things get weird, and things often get weird. So Liz, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your help, your proofreading, sharing a brain, and walking down this occasionally pothole-pocked road, and I do have a project for you. From the kingdoms, I have the following commendation, only one from Kaid. The Kingdom Seneschal wishes to express kudos and congratulations to the Barony of Calontir for their participation in this year's Comic-Con in San Diego. Their efforts provide an outstanding introduction to the SCA for the event's 135,000 attendees from around the world. General status report. As we move out of the war season and our calendars turn back again to crown and coronation season for most, and with that, there is soon to be a few new Kingdom Seneschals taking office as their predecessors are nearing the end of their warrants. It is always a very mixed bag of emotions when our Kingdom Seneschals are nearing the end of their watch. There's a touch of sadness and not working very closely with them anymore, but we also try to keep in touch. There's also a real sense of satisfaction in seeing them complete their watch. So I do keep a few in mind for special projects down the road once they've had a chance to catch their breath. As we do have a number of new and incoming Kingdom Seneschals, I am putting together a slide deck for Seneschal 101 that will be used in one of our upcoming office hours and uploaded to Kingdom Seneschal SharePoint. There are also plans to have the class on investigations again and the investigations process, which we do once a year or sooner if processes and policies change. I continue to greatly enjoy the regular communications I have with the Kingdom Seneschals, sometimes on a daily basis and usually over coffee early in the morning. My office held Kingdom Seneschal office hours late in August of 2025, and among the items discussed were the items that are in the Kingdom Seneschal SharePoint, with a homework assignment to please add their respective kingdom laws for ease of finding and reading, as my office will begin retaking up the task of kingdom law review shortly. Among the reasons for this are the obligation of my office to review kingdom law, and also to be certain that there are no conflicts with the new revision of governing documents that was updated in August of 2025. By the way, the new version of Corpora is up and on the webpage. Do give it a look. As time affords, and it rarely does, I continue to work with my deputies on updating the Seneschal's handbook, as well as items that still need additional work for updating and creating policies. Item G, travel. I have professional travel in November that will take me to Anstiora and Kaid. I hope that will allow me some time to meet up with some friendly visits to local groups and put faces with voices. In January of 2026, I will be at Ontir's 12th night and other travel as it may arise. Publishable summary. There are a handful of smaller branches that are requesting dissolution to take advantage of the Hamlet experiment approved by the board in April of 2025. And while the idea of dissolution is regrettable, these branches are not vanishing. Rather, they are taking on a more manageable form for their geography and needs, and forging ahead into a new and potentially exciting frontier for SCA Incorporated. Kingdom Seneschals are reporting that things go apace, and they are working with local groups to find solutions to those branch designations. Some kingdoms are enjoying renewed interest in local areas. Demos are happening there and gaining the society visibility and interest that is translating into some increases in membership. Concerns continue in some areas for very small and isolated branches. Communications continue to be somewhat of an issue, and reporting as well, but that is always being worked on by our Kingdom Seneschals who are working hard for you. Several kingdoms have had curia recently and have made changes to their laws, in many cases to further clarify a process, or in the case of hard and fast kingdom event dates, to add some wiggle room to avoid the need for variance requests. Mr. Chair, that is my report.
Thank you very much, Madam Society Seneschal.
Are there questions or requests for clarification from the Society Senator? Then, by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society Central is very much gratefully. That would bring us to, sorry, this is small print. Wow, this is really small print. To item 6B1, the report of the Society Youth Activities Officer. Is Mickey on or Stacy?
I don't think Mickey is here, but I do have her report.
Please proceed.
This is the Society Youth Activity Officer report for the third quarter of 2025. Requested board actions are none. Policy interpretations, none. New policies, none. Commendations. I would like to commend Baroness Nasira Al-Zarqa Bint Ivaz and Baroness Elisabetta de Venezia, who coordinate the youth mentorship program at Penzig. I would like to commend Maestra Leonette Dangli and Dame Elizabeth Ale, who are the family activities coordinator at Penzig. These gentles cheerfully take on designing classes, coordinating instructors, and mentors for our youth population. They ensure not only that there are interesting classes, fun activities, but that our youth can safely attend Penzig, ensuring parental peace of mind. General status report, ongoing projects, Zoom meetings in July, deputy summaries, Society Youth Officer. I have had very few MOYs coming to Zoom meetings this quarter. Everyone seems to be fairly busy with events and personal issues. I do check out various Kingdom Youth Facebook pages to see what's going on. Goals. 1, family. Working with the whole family. Parenting, youth, teens, and how to combine that to make the SCA a more welcoming space for families. 2, visibility and accessibility for youth activities and classes at events. Compiling resources and information for families, parents, teens, and youth are a subcategory for these goals. Travel. I have done various events in North Shield, traveling through Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Michigan. Attended Warlords and Warriors in North Shield as well as Penzig. I helped out with family activities and taught classes at both events. Publishable summary. Minister of Youth in various kingdoms have been really busy this year in creating opportunities for SCA youth to participate at events. Larger events such as wars benefit from youth officers and other volunteers providing classes and creating interesting activities such as SCA D&D, mentorship programs, and updating or creating youth handbooks. Royalty and kingdom officers across the SCA have been instrumental in supporting these efforts. Outside of official youth activities such as boffer and classes, there are increases of youth, teen, family participation in archery, thrown weapons, adult classes. That's not what you think it is. They mean classes geared for people of a different demographic, and other areas that have been traditionally more older centric. Mr. Chair, this concludes the report for the Society Youth Activity Officer.
But I'm afraid to ask if there's any need for clarification or questions for the Society Senator on that one. But I'll ask anyway. Then, by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society Youth Activities Officer, as delivered by the Society Senator, is gratefully accepted.
Thank you, Director.
Given the timing and by request, it seems like a good time to take another break. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, what makes sense? 5 to 10. Given the realities of last time, let's call it 10. So that seems more likely. 10 minutes. That would be 2:05 Central. We will take a 10-minute break till 2:05 Central Time. And until then, we stand in recess. Thank you all very much. The next on our agenda is the Vice President for Corporate Operations, who has no report for this quarter. but that would also bring us to the publications manager, which would normally be Gloria, but our ombudsman for the publications offices, who I hope has limbered up her speaking muscles and whatnot, since there's quite a few coming here, has agreed to dive into those reports for us.
I have, Mr. Chair. In good news, most of the reports I will be covering today are relatively brief. The first one I will be covering is for our publications manager, Gloria Woodard. There are no requested board actions at this time. There are no policy interpretations at this time. There are no new policies at this time. Commendations will be scrolling on the PowerPoint during breaks. And the publishable summary is as follows. Publications team continues to create beautiful, informative works for the education and enjoyment of the populace. As an organization, we are fortunate to have such a dedicated group of volunteers to provide us with such amazing publications, as well as the preservation of those materials in our archives. No travel planned, deputies as standard. That concludes the report of our publications manager.
Thank you, Megan. Are there any questions or need clarification?
If there are no need, is there no need for clarification or questions for the pub manager report? Then by consensus and without objection, the report of the publications manager is gratefully accepted. That would bring us to the report of tournaments illuminated.
That would be me again for this moment. Again, this one will be relatively brief. This is the report for Tournaments Illuminated editor, Kendra C. Jones, known in the society as the Honorable Lady Kendrith Fitzgerald. There are no requested board actions at this time, no policy interpretations at this time, no new policies at this time. Again, I'm going to let the commendations scroll during the break, and this is the publishable summary. We are currently working on the Q3 issue of Tournaments Illuminated and looking for more content to publish. We're broadening the scope of the TI to include material that would be useful for newcomers and casual players, along with our traditional research articles. No travel, no confidential section. That concludes the report for Tournaments Illuminated.
Thank you, Megan. Is there any questions or clarification for the report of Tournaments Illuminated editor? Then by consensus and without objection, the report of the Tournaments Illuminated editor is also gratefully accepted. That would bring us to the report of the Complete Anachronist editor.
That's me again today. Once again, this one will be relatively brief. I'm not going to be including everything. More information will be published. This is the report for Ellen Rawson, known in the society as Ariel of Lindisfarne. There are currently no requested board actions, no new policy interpretations, and no new policies. I'm going to let the commendations scroll during our breaks, as we have been. And here is a recap of the publishable summary. The current issue is 2025 Q3, Complete Anachronist 209, The Foods That Built Spain. Starting with Phoenician influence on Spain and then moving to the Romans, this Complete Anachronist examines the history of food in Spain, including the impact of three major religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, on what people ate. Translated recipes and tried and tested modern adaptations for today's cooks are included, along with photos of the final products. Examinations of and experiments with different translations of spice blends also are presented, with the results displayed in clear tables for cooks to interpret. This book is a must for anyone interested in the history of food, the history of Spain, and adding more recipes to their repertoire. There are no confidential dates and no further information in this report. That concludes the report for the Complete Anachronist.
Thank you very much, Megan. Is there any clarification or questions for the report of the complete anachronist editor? Then by consensus and without objection, the report of the complete anachronist editor is gratefully accepted. That would take us to the report of the Society Chronicler.
Me again.
This is my shocked face.
This is the report for Crystal Smith, known in the Society as Mistress Cecilia Blythe. At this time, there are no requested board actions, no new policy interpretations, and no new policies. Accommodations will scroll. And the publishable summary includes that there's no problems to report. We're still in need of a deputy chronicler. And this time we've had one person interested and they're being vetted. That concludes the report of the Society Chronicler at present.
Thank you, Megan. Yeah. Questions or clarification needed for the report of the Society Chronicler? Then by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society Chronicler is gratefully accepted. That would bring us to the report of the Society Archivist, who is here. Travis?
For the report here, I have no requested board actions or policy interpretations or new policies. My commendations are on the scroll, but I do have to say I'm very impressed by the populace of the Outlands producing their Museum of the Outlands, which is sharing the history of their kingdom online, and it's very fun to see their social media post related to that. On to my general status report. The archives remain positive. We have restarted what was the culling process that happened before the archives came here to Utah, and that's to remove the duplicates in the collection. In the past, the policy was to send several copies of each newsletter to the archive, and so in several of the boxes, we have 3 or 4 of each month's copy. We're culling those, and then we are going to take some of them for digitization, because they are easy to digitize that way. Some of them we may offer to any institution that may be interested in having copies of those, such as the collection there in Southern California at, I'm spacing, I think UC Riverside. And that will hopefully reduce the size of the archive overall and allow us to quickly research what we have there. Additionally, this quarter, we received some of our first 3-dimensional objects for the archives. Thank you to the SCA corporate offices. They sent over some of the medallions for the Youth and Family Achievement Program, or YAFA, which originally was set up by the youth officers to encourage youth and families to participate in a variety of areas. It's an interesting piece of SCA history, and they are kind of fun things to be able to share with that. It's not our intention to collect many 3D objects, but it is fun to document some of these programs. We received several issues of Tournaments Illuminated and The Page, very early ones dating back to the 1960s and 70s, and overall, things in the archive are doing well. This also serves as my publishable summary. We have no planned trips for any of the archival team coming up, and nothing confidential to share otherwise. Happy to answer any questions that folks have.
Thank you, Travis. And don't feel like you have to follow the herd on the publications team. We're happy to have you here. Are there any questions or clarification for the Society historian or archivist, excuse me? In that case, by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society Archivist and his presence are gratefully accepted. Thank you. That brings us to item D, which is the report of the Society Treasurer. Carolyn?
Give me a minute, because my report is in 3 different file formats, so I have to flip between screens here. Herein follows a report to the Board of Directors regarding the Office of the Treasurer for the Society for Creative Anachronism for the October meeting covering the third quarter of 2025. I have no requested board actions, no policy interpretations, and no new policies. As far as commendations are concerned, while I know they will be scrolling by, I would like to point out particularly thank the Kingdom Exchequers of Meridies, Aytonville, and Trimaris, because their jobs for 2024 were very, very difficult, and in some cases had to rebuild the entire Kingdom books from the ground up for the entire year, which I know was not fun for them, and I know took quite a bit of time. I'd also like to thank the former Kingdom Exchequer of North Shield, Angie Gilmore, for her prompt assistance to my many questions regarding their investment accounts so that we could properly get those updated in their QuickBooks file. General status report. The investment account for the end of September was included with this report, and it includes our overall investment picture, including a breakdown of our holdings. Our balance as of September 30th is 1.077 million. That's largely due to a robust stock market this year, which has gone up over $100,000 since the beginning of the year. And we have moved some additional money over from the checking account over to the investment account. Temporarily, we do tend to have fairly large bills in December that come due because mostly we have to pay our insurance bill. So that may be moving back to the checking account. I don't know yet. At the end of August, we are running a net operating profit of roughly $100,000. And that's substantially larger than our budget for the year, but is largely due right now to what I call the Penzic War bump, because January and August tend to be our most profitable months. And that's because our membership suddenly increases and our M&R fees increase quite a bit. So we'll see how we go for the rest of the year, and we'll be preparing our 2026 budget to that effect. The 2024 audit has finally started. Thank goodness. We are months ahead of where we were last year. And many thanks to Louise for giving me a couple of extra days to get this report into her, because I was finally able to resolve everything on October 1st and send the necessary files to the auditors and our CPAs. I did notice that our auditors had sent the consolidated report onto the CPAs yesterday. So hopefully our tax returns will be on time this year. Yeah, keep your fingers crossed on that. We are getting document requests from the auditors, and I have been passing those on to the kingdoms as I get those from the auditors. Publishable summary, we've finally finished up resolving the consolidated reports for the kingdoms and forwarded those onto the auditors. Financially, we are in good condition for the moment with a surplus in our checking account and strong performance in our investment account. Let's hope it lasts through the year, although we do have several large bills that normally come due in December and January. As far as travel is concerned, I will be attending Great Western War in Cayeta in November, camping with my household of the Lanterns Keep and the usual suspects. So if anybody would like to come say hi, come on by the camp. I'm camp cook this year, so I'll probably be spending a lot of time in the afternoon in camp. And that is it as far as my formal report is concerned. Let me just check the agenda. The report that I submitted to the board did include a balance sheet and profit and loss statement. There are differences between the profit and loss in our Excel file versus what's in the QuickBooks file. Just so you know, it's not a huge difference, but it's mostly caused by the investment account accounting. So that would be why you're seeing a slight difference there. Possibly there's some changes that they made into the QuickBooks file that aren't reflected in my Excel file yet. I usually check it a month later to make sure that everything's actually matching. And there were a couple of corrections for the August bookkeeping that I needed to have them fixed. They have not yet finalized the September bookkeeping. So that will be going out to you for the November conference call. And I believe that is it. Are there any questions?
Does not appear so. Without such question or need for clarification, then by consensus and without objection, the report of the society treasurer, along with, I believe, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 underneath your underneath the same heading, are all gratefully accepted. Which would bring us to item 7, the report of the Society Exchequer. Erin.
This is my report for the Society Exchequer from the third quarter of 2025. I do have 3 requested board actions. First is the approval of a variance request by the Canadian Kingdoms as a whole and the groups included within that. Would you like me to expound on that for the benefit of everyone? Okay. We have had difficulties in Canada with differences in the banking systems there versus the banking systems here. All systems do not transfer well. They do not use PayPal for pre-registration due to the fact that it is cost prohibitive and there are difficulties there. So they have requested as a group to utilize something that is called Interac e-Transfer Network. It is a system utilized by every bank within the Canadian banking system across all provinces that allows people to send money from account to account using a secured and designated email address. Unlike possibly what you would be familiar with here as Zelle or Zelly or however you pronounce it, where that's going phone number to phone number. This is actually through the banking system set up in your profile, and it is a secured system used throughout Canada. They have requested to be allowed to use that at the group level to accept pre-register, or at the kingdom level to accept pre-registration funds in lieu of using PayPal. They have provided an 10-page long detailed report about costs versus benefits, how everything would be handled, security, double checks, how the transactions would be reported and checked off in the same way that our PayPal deputies do here in the United States groups. And it is my recommendation that I have not yet ruled on this because I wanted to bring it to the board. It would be my recommendation that the board would allow me to approve and then uphold this variance.
John?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we support the Society Exchequer for approving a variance to groups within the Canadian area, groups within Canada for the use of Interac e-transfers on October 18th, 2025. And then we have to approve the variance.
Well, as a point of clarification, would I be correct in what I heard you say in that you are inclined to grant said variance but have not yet done so? Is that correct?
That is correct, because I did not want to grant a variance that would then, of this type, that would then not be upheld.
Understood. So procedurally speaking, we don't need to vote to support her granting a variance. That is anecdotal. We can say, hey, we would support you doing that. We don't need to vote on that.
Okay, then.
Now,
My motion.
you certainly may withdraw your motion.
Mr. Chair.
I withdraw my motion to support the.
Right. Now, we can't actually uphold the variance until it's actually granted. However, there's nothing to say she can't grant that variance, say, at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on October 18th. Hypothetically.
Mr.
And
Chairman,
then we could then vote to uphold said variance shortly thereafter.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
with the support and discussion from the board, I approve the variance from the Canadian Working Group and would ask that you uphold my approval of said variance.
And my assumption is that you will follow said verbal a granting of said variance with the appropriate email and paperwork to say, yes, I granted
Especially
that
now that
variance.
it is in the minutes of the board meeting.
It is not yet in the minutes of the board meeting. It is not yet in the minutes of the board meeting, but I would like it to be, which means you would need to follow it up with the
Yes,
appropriate paperwork.
absolutely.
Okay, so now we have something you could actually make a motion on.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I move that we
Granted to groups within Canada by the Society Exchequer. Variance made at 2:30 p.m. and 18.25 and motion made at 2:30
2025.
Would you accept a friendly amendment to take some of the detail out of that?
Regarding.
Maybe we don't show all our dirty laundry. Please don't put that part in the minute either.
We'll revise my motion. Mr. Chairman, we uphold variance granted to groups within
by the Society Exchequer
on
10.
You don't have to include the date. You don't.
It says.
Okay.
Normally we do. Regarding the use of Interact e-transfer. Yeah.
Wow. This is so out of nowhere. I don't know what we're going to do. That is a motion from Director Sawyer and a second from Director Poor. I've been on the board a long time. Believe me, that's not the worst motion ever. Not even close. That's not what I would have said too, but you know. Yeah.
Anyway.
So further discussion on this motion? Of course.
I'm gonna kill him.
Just for the people who went, what the heck was all that just about? So our officers often grant variances and we have to uphold them. This is a situation where had the Society Exchequer granted a variance to allow the use of a banking thing that we don't normally use, and then had to go back and say, oh, the board said, no, you can't do that. It would cause a lot of financial pain. So that's why we did it in this way, so that there would be no problem with our groups in Canada, and they would be happy with us instead of very
May I move on? Okay.
Hey. I'm not with them, I'm just the chairman.
I was gonna say, this is your.
Okay, So, is there any further questions, comments, or discussions that hopefully doesn't get me canceled? Okay, so without such questions or whatever, we'll move to the voting. Directors in favor of upholding the variance, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Any opposed? That is 6 in favor, none opposed, and the variance granted by the Society Exchequer is upheld.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please continue.
Okay. Wait, why am I echoing? Okay. There was an additional variance that I had requested to have on the agenda about Zephy. May I proceed with that?
Please.
Okay. I received an additional request for a variance that I have granted as an experiment. This variance request came from a barony of Bryn Gillard in Ansiora, seeking the approval for the barony to implement a platform called Zephy as an electronic donation platform. The primary purpose was to test the feasibility and efficiency of Zephy for collecting electronic donations to support baronial activities and projects. In general, we do permit PayPal to be used at the kingdom level for donations. This is a baronial group requesting permission to use this platform on their own that does not incur fees for donations, and the money would then go directly to baronial accounts as opposed to having to go from the kingdom to the barony. They provided a very long, detailed description of the Zephy platform and requested that it be a limited variance of 1 year, which is included in the variance, and that it would only be for the members of this particular barony. Also limiting it only to the barony and not beyond that for this time period. I granted that variance and would request that the board uphold it.
There is a second variance request that was granted by the Society Exchequer. The floor is now open for questions or clarification thereof. I recognize myself. To make sure I understand the scope of the variance that you granted, you mentioned that this is time limited for 1 year. You further mentioned that the scope of this variance was limited, I believe you said, to the populace of the group in question. Is that correct?
Let me clarify.
Please.
Who or what groups will be using it? Point 1 on their documentation, the barony exchequer staff, the primary users for setting up donation campaigns, managing transactions, and reconciling funds. The officers responsible for specific activities, such as the seneschal for general funds, may request exchequer staff to set up donation links for their authorized activities. And then members of the barony and the Society for Creative Anachronism community, these individuals will be the donors utilizing the Zephy platform, making the electronic contributions to the barony.
Okay, so to make sure I fully understand the scope of the variance that's been granted, if I understand what you just said correctly, I think I understand who can set up the stuff. In terms of who can use it, I think what I just heard you say is that the recipients of the funds would be well, the group, but the officers on behalf of the group for setting it up. The donors, do the donors specifically have to be the members of that group, or they could be any SCA member? Provided that the group is the recipient, or can it be anybody? Provided that and they don't have to be a member of the SCA, provided that the group is the recipient of the fund.
I believe that it is the intended audience is SCA and barony wide. However, any member of the public who happens to be
Member of the public.
Any member of the public may donate. Their intended donors, of course, are within our membership.
Okay, thank you. Other questions or clarifications regarding the variance that was granted? Okay, in that case, the floor is open for motions to uphold or overturn the variance. Director Capps.
Mr. Chair, I move that we uphold the variance that was granted by the Society.
There's a motion from Director Capps and a second from Vice Chair Shepherd to uphold the variance that was granted by the Society Exchequer. Is there further discussion on this motion? There being none, to move to voting. Directors in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand. Any opposed? There being 6 in favor and none opposed, that motion carries and the variance is upheld. Thank you. Please continue.
Thank you. My next requested board action was for the review and approval of changes to the society financial policy. Based on our discussions, I withdraw that request for current approval and would like to pend that to the November meeting for further work.
By consensus and without objection, that item is remanded to the November conference call.
Thank you. And then my last action was a request for warrant for a new emergency deputy.
That item, for purposes of the meeting was handled in executive session.
Thank you. I had no policy interpretations during the third quarter. We made no new policies. My commendations have scrolled, but I did want to specifically say thank you to Bonnie Stringer, who was my predecessor in the office, stayed on for the last several months as my emergency deputy, and she is shifting into a new role as Baroness of her local group in the new year. So thank you to her. And also to Tiffany Steldraga, who is the new Atenvelt Exchequer. She did a tremendous amount of work at a very high level to completely get them into compliance with everything in 3 weeks' time. She was absolutely fantastic. Within 6 weeks from the time she took office, all quarterly and consolidated reports were submitted and timely.
Amazing.
Yeah, her team, she and her team have been absolutely tremendous.
I don't think they slept.
I don't see how, but
My the general status report is part of my publishable summary. A few kingdoms have not yet uploaded their fiscal year 24 fourth quarter reports to our report drop, which we created a SharePoint. They are required on a quarterly basis to send their reports, to put their reports there. Continued delays may incur disciplinary actions, including warnings, probations, training, etc. Notices have gone out to the Kingdom Exchequers and the respective seneschals if the 2025 Q1 and Q2 reports have not yet been submitted. NMR reporting and invoicing continues to work efficiently and effectively with the collaborative efforts of James Baker, the Exchequer NMR deputy, and Louise DeCray, our vice president of corporate operations. We are in the process of choosing a successor to the NMR deputy. We have 2 potential candidates that we will be interviewing this month, and we had an excellent response to the second call for applications. The special project team that I was working with, that was part of Bal's team, has completed their work on the revised society financial policies with some of the changes that we discussed, and hopes to implement them at the beginning of the fiscal year. Work continues on the handbook, which will include procedures for the updated policies. Reviews of books for Atlantia, Gulf Wars, and Artemisia, as well now as Avakal, Outlands, and Siora, have all been completed. Middle, Glen Aubin, Penzance, Atenvelt, Meridies, and Drachenwald are also scheduled. All the rest of the kingdoms and greater wars need to complete their review of books by the end of this fiscal year, the end of December. sanctions may be possible if they are not in compliance. For just general knowledge, reviews of books are required at a minimum of every 2 years. All of the kingdoms were out of date. So they had until the end of the year to complete these. And training will commence on QuickBooks and other topics as soon as the financial policies are approved. My travel, I just got back from East Kingdom Coronation last weekend. I will be at Albaron in the Outlands in December, Ethelmark in January, and then Gulf Wars in March. And that concludes my report to the board.
Thank you, Erin. Are there any requests for clarification or other questions for the Society Exchequer? Without such questions, then by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society Exchequer is gratefully accepted. And thank you.
Thank you.
Having already gone through the report of the Society Herald, that would bring us to the Society Marshal, who is present with us. Melissa?
Well, it's been another fantastic quarter. Many thanks to the Three Rivers Barony and the Baroness for hosting me at the fighter practice and the populace meeting and the equestrian practice. And Val also got to come along. So that was great. We had 2 requested board actions this quarter. One was for reviewing and approving updates to the Armored Combat Rattan Handbook, June 2025 edition, and also to review and approve the new Rapier Combat Society Handbook. We have 2 follow-up meetings scheduled to do that post this meeting because there's a lot of material to go over that there's not enough time to do that during this weekend. So looking forward to having those discussions with the board later this month. For some background, so the new
You got to pause there. Because you requested the board actions by consensus and without objection, we're going to have to remand those to the next meeting.
Got it.
By such consensus and without any objection, we'll remand those to the November conference call.
Got it. Thank you.
The procedural stuff, sorry.
Thank
you. Please continue.
Yes. A quick summary for everyone out there. The updates to the Armored Combat Handbook were a result of the feedback that we've collected over the last 4 months from Kingdom or Marshals, emails, meetings with people, and the board. And just so thanks everyone for taking the time and effort for providing that feedback. It was very good and useful. For the Rapier Handbook, just to reiterate, we're moving it to this new format, which is focused on to be an online handbook. As such, there were no major changes to the Rapier gameplay. So fighting conventions, target areas, use of weapons, that's all the same. Most of the functional changes were to global administration, management, oversight functions, which were in line with the approved version of the Armored Combat Rules in June. These sections apply to all martial disciplines. We had a few significant changes. Rapier and Cut and Thrust will be separate handbooks. We removed light rapier for adult combat, though it's still available for youth rapier combat. We removed the society level requirement for marking of minors. Rapier combat archery will be a separate authorization. And we removed electrical tape as an approved method for securing the tip. So those are the main changes that are in the new proposed handbook. We're still collecting feedback. We've posted these changes. Your Kingdom Rapier Marshals and Kingdom or Marshals do have copies of the draft. So we have been reviewing it with them and collecting their input. I did want to just quickly, I'm not going to go through all the commendations because those will be posted online, but I do want to give a special thanks to William, Carrie, David, Davin, John, Katrin, Marlene, and Kate, who have been tirelessly working this quarter for not only the Kingdom-specific versions of the handbooks, but also completing the new Rapier handbook. and the updates. So they have been doing 3 jobs at once for the last couple months. So many thanks to them. Few highlights. We have a few new Kingdom Marshals in Aidenveld, Midrealm, and Anstiora. So we welcome them on board and thank them for volunteering their time and service. Some other interesting highlights. I do want to quickly give a good highlight. William will talk about the new Known World Armored Combat Symposium.
My sound system is not working, so I'm going to borrow her computer. The Barony of Yarravetler and the Kingdom of North Shield has put in a bid to host the Known World Armored Combat Collegium September 5th and 6th of next year. They needed my office and the Society or Martha's office permission to do so, and needed the Society Seneschal permission to use the term Known World. That's all been approved. And that will be held again September 5th and 6th of next year in Stoughton, Wisconsin, hosted by the Barony of Yarravetler. And I'd like to really thank Meister and Evelyn and Lord James, who are the 2 autocrats. Keep your eyes open. There will be a lot more coming out about this, and several luminary figures from the armored combat world in the society will be there teaching classes. And if you can make it, it's going to be a really good event.
It's a very, for people who are interested in hosting Known World martial activity events, there is a very distinct process for that. Please just contact us and we're happy to give you those details. A couple other highlights. Antir has a new online martial database that they're going live. Eldamere has also completed a large update to theirs. My thanks to Kaid for piloting the first Kingdom version of the online handbooks. Their input and efforts have been incredibly insightful. I want to call out to Nordmark in Drakenwald. They had over 127 archers during double wars. That's the highest number they've ever seen. And they had Royal Rounds, Portsmouth, ICAC, and a 3D hunting trial, which was a full day, and a full day workshop was also held for fletching and making their bowstrings. And then in Outlands at Battlemore, the archery field hosted the equestrians for a mounted archery class and workshop. And several of the target archers were also able to try shooting from horseback. And Trimaris has been doing team competitions all summer, where they split the kingdom into 2 teams to spur up competition and also create more camaraderie among the fighters. And that has been going extremely well out there. So kudos to them for new efforts and new things. From our office, in addition to the Known World and the 2 new handbooks that we've are working on getting through right now. If you go online, it'll let you know the schedule for the rest of the handbooks. We do plan to update all of the handbooks. So Rapier and Cut and Thrust are in the works right now. Target Archery is next. And then Equestrian, Thrown Weapons, Siege, and Youth will follow. A couple lessons learned over the last 4 months is we're increasing efforts for earlier and wider communication with the broader martial communities about the upcoming changes. You can never over communicate. And then also we have a 1 rule, 1 line approach online. And so one nice thing is the old rules are getting more attention. People are reading them. There's lots of discussion. It's fantastic. But people are reading the rules. So we're finding some old issues that we're working on fixing later on, but it's nice to have these conversations. It's spurred some really great conversations. So in general, martial activities are continuing to increase across all disciplines. Numbers are up. The experimental programs are helping grow enthusiasm and renewing interest. Target archery and thrown weapons still continue to grow the fastest and are immensely popular. Very happy with the kingdoms creating more online authorization systems, training materials, YouTube videos. It's really been helpful to increase that communication, sharing best practices. It also helps create the resources to help marshals come up to speed more quickly and help them address fighter issues more effectively and fairly. Other interesting things. For experimental programs, just wanted to mention some advancements. Harness Vectin is continuing to grow with great enthusiasm. We have well over 200 data points collected. 11 kingdoms have officially joined. Welcome Aidenvelt, they joined this last quarter. Rapier, we've been running the reduced torso armor experiment for a while now. I know people are eager for updates on that. We do have a lot of really good data. We like the data. We are looking at paths to include this option going forward while balancing the risks for large melees and lost tips. So some of the rule changes we made in the new handbook are reflecting our further goals to try and be more mindful and have more options, especially for people who suffer from heat. So the reduced armor for limbs for cut and thrust will be included in the next cut and thrust handbook, which we'll ask to get approved next meeting, in a follow-on meeting. And I just want to do a great call out. 3D printed materials have been fantastic for the marshalet. We have 3D printed ballista fins for siege weapons that debuted at Penzic and were a great success. We've been using them in Rapier and they're also in Equestrian. So it's providing a great way to get more inexpensive weapons that are safe for our use. So we're very happy about that. And overall, I just wanted to say many thanks to, like I said, my deputies, rules updates team, everyone who took the time to provide us feedback. It's a huge project, and without all these great people and their support, we would not be as far along as we are. I do want to mention that I and several of my deputies, including William, will be at Great Western War. We'll be holding 3 marshal meet and greets. So we hope to meet more people and talk with folks there. Please come by. We would love to get your input and know what's going well and what we can help to support you doing better. That's it.
Big going on for William.
There might be.
There might be.
There might be. So
we're gonna embarrass you.
I'm not so mean that I'm gonna have it reflected. Well, maybe I am.
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, well, we are. So if you wouldn't mind reflecting in the minutes the personal congratulations of Graf Ulrich and Duke Martin. You can put our names on it too if you want. But we are both very pleased and very happy to welcome William to the Order of the Chivalry. As he and please add Duke Thomas and good grief. How do you pronounce your name again? Your SEA name? Duchess Rionwin. Countess Rionwin to the Order of the Chivalry. As William sits his vigil to contemplate the joys and sorrows of wearing a white belt and the chain that goes with it at the Great Western War. And couldn't happen to a nicer guy. We have been friends for nigh on 30 years, and I'm very pleased that he is finally being afforded the opportunity to join the Order of the Chivalry. And long time coming, but I'm very glad that it's happening now.
Thank you, sir.
And yeah, I'm not above embarrassing you in front of all these people and everybody watching at home. So congratulations, bud.
Thanks, sir.
And sorry. So questions or clarification for the Society or Marshal? Then, by consensus and without objection, the report of the Society or Marshal is gratefully accepted. Thank you, Melissa. That would take us to, I think that brings us to Kathy, or yeah, Catherine, the Society Minister of Arts and Sciences, who I think is here.
She was. I
Was.
am.
Yeah, there she is.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
Thank you.
I've been in the dark all afternoon. Afternoon, everyone. I think at this point, everyone's pretty much in the afternoon. I'd like to begin with commendations, just two quick ones, to all the Kingdom and local ANS officers for their continued good work in the ANS community. I am proud of everyone who facilitates or plans and participates in all the ANS activities. And also a specific commendation to all those who are trying new to them arts or sciences. Just keep going because it's the only way we can grow, right? We have to keep trying different things. And the balance of all of my commendations that were in my report will be on the scroll, right? So the Society for Creative Anachronism continues to fulfill its mission to research and recreate the arts, sciences, and skills of the pre-17th century world. Many kingdoms are finding a variety of ways to communicate with the arts community. Several have either constituted or strengthened online newsletters or a newsletter. This is really helping with communication with the populace at large, since most of us, me included, don't read the printed one anymore. It's just much easier to do a couple of clicks and download whatever it is I need to read. During the third quarter, 5 of the reporting kingdoms successfully held regional and kingdom ANS competitions. However, predominantly the focus for the last quarter was Penzic, which really takes a lot of the attention for some of the larger kingdoms. So they really weren't worried about kingdom recognitions as far as their ANS competitions. But even as these competitions are expanding, there's all kinds of opportunities for artists to participate also in non-judged ANS events. The argument is that low stakes experiences are a foundation for people to enter into formal ANS activities. And this allows people to participate wherever they're comfortable at varying levels. Interestingly, and I find this intriguing, there is a rising interest in forestry, field foraging, and farming topics. I don't know why, but it's been fascinating watching these things grow. Guilds in several kingdoms are growing, while some are stagnant. Some guilds are stagnant, but in particular, these topics are forming new guilds, and they are also creating treaties that recognize ranks across borders. In particular, Ethelmark and Atlantia forged a treaty at Penzic that recognizes recognition from both kingdoms across their own borders, which foraging, who knew? I know some of the herbal guilds will also delve into foraging, which there's a lot of, a very large Venn diagram, almost a circle between these two interests. As was said before earlier in this meeting, there's an ongoing concern of generative AI, and I'm working with the others to help construct a new policy. We are far from finished. We are just starting this process, and I really want to make sure that we have a lot of people, we want voices in to have this conversation with the AI. In particular, in the ANS, there's a lot of conversation about documentation and writing, that a lot of concerns. We are trying to address all aspects of this. And finally, there is an exciting virtual interkingdom 24-hour university being planned for early 2026. Atlantia, Locac, and Drachenwald are working together to create an incredible opportunity for people to attend classes around the globe. So get your coffee ready and step on in for classes around the world. So
very excited about that. I think it's supposed to be early next year. I don't have the dates on my report here, so I don't think I have the dates yet. As soon as I have them, I'm going to advertise the living daylights out of this. And with that, I'm going to conclude my report.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any questions or clarifications needed from Catherine? Otherwise, I'll say that by consensus and without objection, that by far Catherine has the coolest glasses I've ever seen.
I do. I really
And,
do.
you know,
I'm
also
not
by
going to.
consensus and without objection, her report is also gratefully accepted. Thank you, Catherine, very much appreciated. That would bring us to the report of the Society Chatelaine, Drew, who I don't know if I saw. He is
I
here.
am here.
Thank you.
This is the report for third quarter 2025 from the Society Chatelaine. No board actions requested, no interpretations made, and no new sorry, every time somebody pops in, it makes a noise to me and I have to clear my head. No new board actions. Things are going pretty well. The Known World Newcomer Symposium is back on track and will be taking place November 29th. We are still looking for more class proposals and trying to get some registrations up for that. There will be a Chatelaine Summit, which is going to be a training from about noon to 8 p.m. Central in January. So we're looking forward to that too, just teaching Chatelaines where to find the documents and things they need to do their jobs better and with more ease. The commendations should be in the scroll, and we released a survey group this past quarter. The first, which we will release a new survey each quarter. The first survey went out. We have about roughly 800 people signed on. All kingdoms, including Lowcock and Drakkenwald, are on the survey group or have people participating. The first couple of questions we had were in effect to how people found the SCA and how long they've been participating. To not many surprise, over 51% of our recruitment happens from a friend bringing somebody to an event. So keep driving the bus of, hey, have you ever seen this thing I do? And bringing them to the event. There was a little disturbing news out of it, but that's why we need data to work better. The recruiting is going really well. We broke groups up into 20 years plus, 10 to 15, 5 to 10, 2 to 5, and then 1 year in the SCA. The 1 year in was great. We're doing very strong with recruitment. And the 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20 were all pretty equal, though we are top heavy. Unfortunately, the 2 to 5 year, the retention of our newcomers is someplace we all need to do a lot better work on, and we are coming up with ways to do that, which is part of the reason we have the data. So that is going to be a focus over the next year, is trying to figure out how better to retain the people that we get in from our recruitment efforts. And that's my report. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Drew. Are there any questions or requests for clarification for the Society Chatelaine? And I'll recognize myself, Drew, and say I'm very curious to see what conclusions you may draw from the survey results and your analysis coming from that. I have my own suspicions, having done some similar analysis about 25 years ago when I was seneschal for my kingdom. So I'm curious to see what you guys draw from that and what may be different. So I'm definitely interested in where you guys go from here. So, but any other questions or clarification? Then by consensus and without objection, Andrew, your report is also gratefully accepted. Thank you. That brings us through the end of item 6 on the agenda and our the conclusion of our the open section of the meeting, and that would bring us to item 7, executive session. 7 on my list. What do you have as 7? 7 is correspondence then?
7 correspondence for the one.
Item 7, correspondence. Now, correspondence has been received and dealt with through executive session, which leads us to item 8, executive session. Leslie?
Mr. Chairman, executive session was opened on Friday, October 17th, 2025 at 3:36 p.m. Central Time, recessed at 8:01 p.m. Central Time. Executive session was reconvened on Saturday, October 18th, 2025 at 9:39 a.m. Central Time and recessed for a final time at 10:33 a.m. Central Time. Society Seneschal confidential updates. The report of the Society Seneschal was accepted as presented. By consensus, the board directed the Society Seneschal to begin an investigation into a confidential matter. James Acton, motion by Joan Stoyer to revoke the membership of and deny participation to James Acton based on violations of corporate policy 20A sections 1, 2, and 3, and corporate policy 20.C sections 1 and 3. Second by KT Shepard. Chairman Falcon exercised his option to vote and did so in favor of the motion. Opposed, none. Motion carried. Jonathan Brown, motion by Krista Capps to revoke the membership of and deny participation to Jonathan Brown based on violations of corporate policy 20A, sections 1, 2, and 3, and corporate policy 20.C, sections 1 and 3. Second by Kate Poor, opposed none, motion carried. Tammy Miller, motion by Katie Shepard to revoke the membership of and deny participation to Tammy Miller based on violations of corporate policy 20.A, section 1, and corporate policy 20.B, sections 1 and 2. Second by Krista Capps. Opposed, none. Motion carried. Keith Bates / Keith Eldridge. Director Joan Stoyer recused herself from discussion of or voting on this issue. Motion by Kate Poor to uphold the temporary removal from participation in the Society of Keith Bates as issued by Kaylin and Danielle, Crown of the Kingdom of Glen Aubin, and their Kingdom Seneschal on August 23rd, 2025, to extend the temporary removal from participation and to further direct the Society Seneschal to begin an investigation into possible sanctions up to and including revocation of membership and denial of participation, effective immediately. Second by Jonathan Foster. Opposed, none. Recused, Joan Stoyer. Motion carried. Malachi Eldridge. Directors Kate Poor and Joan Stoyer recused themselves from discussion of or voting on this issue. Motion by Krista Capps to direct the Society Seneschal to issue a temporary removal from participation in the Society of Malachi Eldridge and to further direct the Society Seneschal to begin an investigation into possible sanctions up to and including revocation of membership and denial of participation, effective immediately. Second by Megan O'Shea. Chairman Mark Falcon exercised his option to vote and did so in favor of the motion. Opposed, none. Recused, Kate Poor. Joan Stoyer. Motion carried. Deidre Pipkin. By consensus, the board instructed the Society Seneschal to close this matter as directed. Canadian Working Group funding request. The reports of the president and the corporate treasurer were accepted as presented. Society recruitment and retention campaign scope. The report of the president was accepted as presented. SCA 60th year anniversary. The report of the president was accepted as presented. Exchequer emergency replacement deputy. Motion by Krista Capps to appoint Robin Stinson as Exchequer emergency replacement deputy. Second by KT Shepard. Opposed, none. Motion carried. Legal updates. The report of in-house counsel was accepted as presented. October 18th, 2025 subsidiaries action by verbal consent. All actions for the subsidiaries of the Society for Creative Anachronism Incorporated are accepted by consensus. Director resignation. By consensus, the resignation of Director KT Shepard from seat F of the Board of Directors for the Society for Creative Anachronism was accepted effective at the close of the October 18th, 2025 quarterly meeting. Director appointments, Keith Howard. By consensus, the appointment of Keith Howard to seat F of the Board of Directors for the Society for Creative Anachronism was acknowledged effective at the close of the October 18th, 2025 quarterly meeting. Director selection seat G. Motion by Krista Capps to appoint Chip Chipman.
Carl.
Okay.
That's gonna stick.
Sorry.
That's gonna stick. That's
R
got.
with a C, right?
Yeah, you gotta help me with that, Sam, KT. We gotta make that stick.
Mr. Chipman, if you are out there, I apologize.
No, don't warn him. Don't. Yes. You gotta make that stick.
Let me start over. Motion by
Heard it the
Krista.
first time. It's good. Yes, ma'am. He's a friend. It's all good.
Good. Motion by Krista Capps to appoint Carl Chipman to seat G of the Board of Directors for the Society for Creative Anachronism for the standard 3-year term and subject to the standard probationary period effective at the close of the April 2026 quarterly meeting. Second by KT Shepard. Chair Mark Falcon exercised his option to vote and did so in favor of the motion. Opposed, none. Motion carried. Chair assignment. Motion by Kate Poor to appoint Jonathan Foster as chair for the Board of Directors for the Society for Creative Anachronism, effective at the close of the January 2026 quarterly meeting. Second by KT Shepard. Chair Mark Falcon exercised his option to vote and did so in favor of the motion. Opposed, none. Motion carried. Vice Chair assignment. Motion by KT Shepard to appoint Megan O'Shea as Vice Chair for the Board of Directors for the Society for Creative Anachronism, effective at the close of the October 18th, 2025 quarterly meeting. Second by Joan Stoyer. Chair Mark Falcon exercised his option to vote and did so in favor of the motion. Opposed, none. Motion carried. Ombudsman assignments. Mark Falcon, Chair. President, Society Seneschal, Corporate Office, Executive Assistant, Financial Officers. Megan O'Shea, Vice Chair. ANS Anstiora East, North Shield, and Publications. Krista Capps, Director. Aidenveld, Atlantia, Meridies, Middle Recruiting. Jonathan Foster, Director. Calontir, Chatelain, Information Technology, including Webminister and Webmaster, and Outlands. Keith Howard, Director. Ontir, Artemisia, Kaid, Marshall West. Kay Poor, Director, Inclusive Programs, DE/DEIB, Harold's, Ethelmart, Glenabbott, and Trimaris. Joan Stoyer, Director, Avocal, Drakenwald, Eldemir, and Locock. Upcoming warrant expirations. Society Seneschal ER Deputy, October 31st, 2025. Webmaster, January 1st, 2026. Marketing, January 31st, 2026. In-house counsel, April 30th, 2026. 2026 budget discussions. By consensus, the report of the corporate treasurer was accepted as presented. The corporate treasurer was further directed to make adjustments as necessary. That ends your minutes for your executive session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Need some water or something? It's a lot.
Need a vacation.
I hear the publication
Yeah.
somewhere.
Someone. Needless to say, the business of the SCA continues to get about itself, and hopefully we stay enough out of its way that it doesn't get too far off the rails. We're very grateful to have the opportunity to serve you in this fashion and to be able to keep the SCA moving and to make sure that the SCA that has given so much to us is still here for the generations to come. And as a second generation member of the SCA who has third generation children and a fourth generation granddaughter, I am very literal when I say that I am doing what I can to make sure that the SCA is here for the generations to come. That would not be possible without not just all the people sitting in front of you or sitting on your screen, metaphorically speaking, but also all of you, both in this room and across the SCA, continuing to make the SCA what it is. With all of that said, there are not many people who have contributed as much, who have given as much, who have dedicated as much to this organization, to its continued function, both as a participant, as someone who has administered to its growth, who has shepherded it through tough times. You got something to say?
Not a word.
Who has afforded themselves of the opportunities that the SCA has to offer, who has achieved within the SCA as a combatant, who has achieved within the SCA within service, all with no hair. Oh yeah, I went there. Well, yeah, I'm losing mine. I mean, who has ruled a kingdom. I don't know why I'm retired from that stuff. Who wants to do it again? But who has served on the board of directors with distinction, who has administered at the highest levels of his kingdom in more than one discipline. We make a lot of jokes about stuff because this the jobs that he's held sometimes can be very difficult. And, you know, laughter hides a lot of stuff. But it's no joke to say that the SCA in his kingdom, the SCA in the SCA would not be what it is without KT Shepard. And that's a fact. His leadership at every level has been inspirational to many and critical when it counted to the success and the, in many real ways, to the continued existence of the SCA in the ways that count. So I hope you will all join me in a heartfelt thank you and extending your gratitude to a bedrock of our organization, to someone who has kept us afloat and kept us moving in the hardest of times. Vice Chair KT Shepard, our friend. Thank you all very much.
Turn my stuff on here. Shep, my friend, what a long, strange trip it has been. For those who don't know, he came aboard as my emergency deputy about 6 months after I became Society Seneschal. And we, yeah, drink. And we hit it off very well. It was during the pandemic. We got on a Zoom to try, you know, I offered him the job. He was interested. We had a Zoom to kind of, you know, talk about it and get to know each other. We hit it off really, really well at the Zoom. And for the next several months, all I had to do, the emergency deputy gets all the email and everything. So if there was something going horribly south, all I had to do was get on a chat with him and say, yeah. And I didn't have to tell him what I was talking about. He already knew. And we had it all planned out. There was a particular investigation that was going to be a bear and we were going to do it together. And then the board stole him away from me. And I only forgave them because I got a Stacy. But the best part of doing SCA service in many ways is the people you get to work with from all over that you wouldn't have even maybe known before. And one of the best ones is you. It's been great.
Hands down. So as most of you know, because when we do introductions, we talk about who we are and where we're from. Shep and I are both from Meridies. We've known each other longer than I think either one of us would like to say out loud.
I'll say that I'm proud of it. It's like 26
It's been 26 years. It's been a good long while. And Shep was one of my successors as Kingdom Seneschal, drink. And what forged out of that was what I can only describe as a bedrock of a wonderful working, professional, laughing relationship, because you and I have laughed till we've cried over a few things. And you heard it here first from Liz. I'm here because of him. Blame him.
So he owes you an apology.
No, he doesn't owe me an apology. What he gave to me in this opportunity was the remarkable ability to sit down every day with these amazing people, with the hardest working folks in the SCA, our Kingdom Seneschals, who never get nearly enough credit. And I get to work with these folks and laugh with these folks and sometimes cry with these folks on a daily basis. So my friend, from the bottom of my heart, I am so glad that I got to know you all this time, and I look forward to what we might do in the future.
One last little accolade here. Shep is the liaison to the Marshal's office, and he's been an incredible support and advocate for this office. From the first day that we met at Penzic, where I think I blasted about 1,000 things that I was going to do, and he did not run away in terror from all the things I was planning to do. And needless to say, we've created a tremendous amount of work and reviews, and he has helped us weather it all. He's helped guide us. He's provided invaluable input. Thank you so much for
letting us grow and move the office in new directions, but in an intelligent and thoughtful way.
So, as these wonderful people have said, and as Liz pointed out, I got to see the board work up close and personal for almost a year before they realized that I was on the list to be interviewed. They were all very surprised. And then did another interview with me, and I got to join. And we on the board take a lot of flack. But everyone here has the best has the best interest of the SCA at heart. Everyone here is a participant. Everyone here makes their decisions not necessarily off what they think they would like to personally see the SCA be, but off what is best for the organization. Sorry. The ability to put your personal feelings aside and make a decision that I don't want to say necessarily agree with, but it doesn't meet your personal vision, but you know it's what's best for the people. It's hard to do. So a quick thank you to all of them for everything that you do and for the opportunity to get to know all of you. Some of you a little bit more than I knew before, some of you a little bit better, some for the first time. But you're in great hands. And I have a lot more stuff that I wanted to say, but I'm crying. And that's the thing. And Lily's is still my favorite war. So there you go.
Well, we did a thing because we do that. We're doing people. And
Praise
not like that. Krista has the thing, so.
To get you to love golf wars a little bit. We got you disc golf because we know you love this one. So you have a personalized set of, it's a driver, a putter,
Whatever the mid
thing.
thing.
Yes. All customized with our thanks for being the most amazing.
So much. We're told the company that made them, I mean, they make the custom stuff and apparently they're good, but you know, I don't know from Adam, so hopefully they don't suck.
They're a good company. I'm a little concerned that the one you gave me is a felon.
Hey man, I don't make up the names.
Let's see, you got a felon, you got a judge. That tracks. And it's free. All right. That's the spirit. That's good. Thank you so much. That's great.
In the tradition of the board, I will cede my position to you so that you may close the meeting.
So I don't close, I don't have to go anywhere. That's good.
Hey man, that was the thing, so.
So Director Ford, you want to say something?
Vice Chair,
I believe he's actually acting chair at the moment.
Quarterly meeting of the Society for Creative Actors and the Board of Directors on 10/18/2025 at 3:35 p.m. Central Time.
It's a motion by Director Ford, second, a preemptive second. You only get one of those out here. By Director Capps. Any discussion on this? Okay. We'll miss you. I miss all of you. There being no discussion? Okay.
Oh.
You have an objection? What? I have to go home to my wife at some point. I'd just like to point out, you don't have to miss this. They're open to the public. I will, I've been to several board meetings before I joined the board. I don't know why, but I was. I'm sure I'll be looking more again. Is there any other comments that we're gonna make? Peanut gallery? Okay, then all those in favor? All those opposed? There being none opposed, this is closed at 3:37 Central. Thank you all.
Cheers.